6 Mile, which is probably the number one, creek, bayou, whatever you want to call it, on Toledo Bend. I mean, this gets a lot of publicity. I'm just going to kind of start at the back of it. Obviously, you got the main creek coming in here, tons of little islands and braids with the channel. I believe that's a railroad bed right there, cutting right across the back of it. So, right immediately right there, some structure next to a channel. Man, that little area right there looks pretty sweet. All of this does. I mean, plenty of flats back there for them to push some shad up. This little bay right here is highlighted, so that could be a good area. Of course, you got the bridge coming through here, and the channel kind of necks down right here off the bank. Got this big kind of spit of land right here, and the channel just kind of swings right around it. So, anywhere around this looks like it could be good. They've got this whole area shaded. Just great coves for bass to push stuff into. Looks like you got more of that multiple railroad lines coming through here. So got some old railroad beds, some stumps. Looks like there's a channel coming through right there. A lot of good stuff back there. I don't know how much grass is back there. There could be some. Gosh, there's just so many little feeder creeks and cuts. I believe this here could be a grass bed. I don't know if there's any grass there or not now, but man, this place is so huge. Here's a ramp back here in the I believe this is Big Sandy. Or maybe it's just Sandy. Yeah, Big Sandy Creek. I mean, there's a ramp right there in the back of it. I mean, you launch right there, you're already back here ready to go. And I guarantee there's 2 big creeks coming in like that. There should be some shad pushed up in there. Got another feeder creek coming in here. So much going on back here. But I think you can see why a paper map gives you more information, though. You can't get all this stuff on Navionics or any other online mapping for that matter. But 6 Mile is definitely one of the more famous ones. And I think I would start maybe back here at the Sportsman's Marina, launch there and have access to this entire back slough area. And at least pre-fish it and see if there's any bass back there. My gut's telling me they're going to be shallow. So, those are the kinds of places I'm looking. And then if I need to go deep, deep water's not far. I mean, 22, I know those channels are fairly deep. So get out here and fish some of those flats if the shallow bite's not working. But that's kind of my quick breakdown of 6 Mile. Let's move on. Next up we got San Patricio, and looks like we've got a ramp here, kind of in the middle of the creek, Holly Point Landing. And then if you were wanting to get out here on the main lake, Wright's Landing right here looks like a good place to launch. Gives you access to the flats out on the mouth of the bayou here. And it looks like they've got this whole north end shaded for a fishing area, and that's the San Patricio Flats. And this time of year, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those flats, and I can see this creek channel right here weaving all the way back through here, and where it comes into these islands and off these points, and that's got to be good. You can follow the creek channel all the way back here where it necks down, goes underneath that bridge. I mean, I know grass is hard to find. There could be some grass back there. I don't know what the environment's like back there, but that's something where, I might get on Google Earth and give that spot a look just to see what it looks like. The boat lane's all the way over here. You got a road bed over here and a couple of creek channels, but it just doesn't, there's not a lot going on over there. It just doesn't look as sexy as this north end. This north end's got channels, all kinds of little points jutting out, little drains and ditches. I think San Patricio's got to be on the list for me. So, I could launch right here at Holly Point Landing, which I don't know if that's a ramp or if there's a ramp out there, but okay, that's the GPS. Yeah, this is the ramp right here. So, I mean, that'd be a great spot to launch. You got access to the whole thing if you launch right there. So that's definitely going to be on the list to maybe pre-fish. There's a lot going on here. I think I just like to say it, Lanana. Lanana Bio. Got just a, man, I mean, it's overwhelming really to look at. It's got so many boat lanes in it. I try to just kind of look past those boat lanes and try not to see them. But you've got a, looks like a little bit of launch area. I don't see much on this north end. Okay, I guess that's a ramp right there. I don't see the name. Tranquility Bay. Okay. Got a campground out here. They may have a ramp. I bet they do, or they wouldn't put it on here. But man, just so much going on here. You got so many smaller creeks. And you know, I'm gonna have to look and see what Back of the Creek's number 106, see what the notes say for that. That's another thing. I mean, these areas look good, but you know, I kind of want to check. This map has a lot of notes on it. I kind of want to look and see, make sure some of these areas are conducive to bass in the fall. Make sure that's one of the hot spots. Now the back of this, I always tend to look at the back. Got a creek channel running in here with a roadbed kind of cutting right across it, right there. All that right there should be good. I mean, there should be fish hanging out back there. Then you got this creek channel right here, kind of runs right up against the bank. That's an area that I would be looking at right there. Just really from right here, all that creek channel, maybe going up in here. There's another ditch right there. Man, that stuff, and it's untelling how far up in that you can go. But that whole area there looks really good to me. Along with this bridge, I can see the creek channel running up against the bank off these 3-4 points right here. You know, between that and maybe starting right over in here, leading all the way back in there, that all looks really good. But really, it's kind of the same through here too. I mean, these cuts right here, these two cuts ought to be good. It's got that creek channel running right in here before it swings away out to the middle of the creek. Same thing up here. There's just lots of channels. There's so much going on here. These coves in here, you know, they ought to have bass in them being pushed in off the main lake. Looks like the main river channel comes right through here, so it's not asking too much for some of these bass and shad to be coming in off the main river and getting pushed up in these coves. So may have to put Lanana on that list too. I mean, that's it looks huge. I mean, I can't imagine what that really looks like once you get out there, because even on the map, I mean, that's huge, huge, huge. So I don't know. We'll I think that place at least deserves a drive-by. This is Negret Bay, and there's really only a couple places to launch. You can launch here at Turtle Beach, or you could launch over here at Shadows Landing. Turtle Beach looks pretty good. Looks like you could get access to this Salter Creek right here, and then I've heard a lot about Tennessee Bay, which I think is just this big flats. Big area of flats out here. I don't know if there's any grass on it or not. Also another ramp right over here. That's Cypress Bend Park right there. So you could launch there and have access to these Tennessee Bay flats right here. I don't really know a whole lot about it. Looks like you got a bunch of ditches running through, some stumps. Doesn't look too bad though. But then you got this Salter Creek. You know, that looks like a more traditional Kentucky, Tennessee mountainous kind of creek. You know, it looks like it's a little narrower. Got a little bit more defined channel swings going through the creek. And this here, I don't know what creek this is. I think that was maybe Turner. I can't remember, but you know, you launch here at Turtle Beach, you got access to two nice creeks. And then, of course, you can work your way back. You can see how this channel kind of hugs the bank back here. Going all the way back. Got Winfrey Creek that swings into it. Just a lot of back, you know, there could be shad pushed up on all these flats back here coming out of this channel. So back in Negret looks really good. Got a pipeline swinging across. A A lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff. Come out of Shadows Landing. There's some channel swings. You know, a little creek running out here to the main creek. A lot of potential going on up in here. I kind of like the look of this area. I may have to add that to the list and see if we can maybe get a few hours to go pre-fish that. Let's move on to Patroon Bay. Oh man, there's so much going on here. So you definitely have a big road bed here. Looks like it starts out here, cuts all the way across, and goes back into the bank here. Something I noticed when I look at this particular bay, there's not as much standing timber in here as there are other places. You know, that standing timber was the green dots like right here, and there's not, I mean, there's some, but there's not as much as some of the other places, especially when you get up into the upper reaches of this. A lot of good looking creek channels. Looks like there's a road bed in the main back of this. You know, that could definitely be good. You know, if you get this map, you'll have to look up some of these numbers, like the upper end of Patroon Bay, and see what they recommend. Right, here's another one, 76, 77. So looks like we got a bridge here, road going all the way across with the channel swinging underneath of it. And there's a ramp right here, Holly Park Marina. So a lot of launch options. Then as you go a little bit further on the south end, there's all sorts of these creeks in here. Man, this lake is just so big, it's hard to really narrow anything down. You know, if you do launch here, you could launch out here on the point. Best Park Marina and Newell's Fishing World. I assume those places are there. It looks like you could launch at one of those places, have access to the main river out here in the chicken coop. I'm sure that's Bluff Riverbank right there, which could be really good. And then you also have access to this huge flat out here on this point. Just kind of looking around, seeing what jumps out at me. There's so much here. Yeah, I'm just looking at this creek channel though. I'm just trying to, you know, the creek channel runs in here around this bridge, this old road bed, another creek up in here. You know, if you could find some grass up in these areas, you should be able to catch some fish. So we'll have that on the list. I don't know if we'll get to it or not, if I'll get a chance to drive over there and check it out or not, but it looks like, you know, look here, Stewart's Bass area. I mean, okay. Big area though, can support a lot of people. Looks like there's a lot of good fishing opportunities up there. So we'll kind of roll on. All right, the last one is Howson Bay. Howson's got a huge grass flat out in the front here. This is called the Ashmore Flats, and there's all sorts of little channels and cuts coming through here. There's a road bed. There's some shallow spots. There's some deep cuts. I don't know if there's any grass though. I've heard some bad stories that maybe there's no grass, but we'll see. Now there's a ramp right here. I believe Jack's 944 Marina. So there's a ramp right here. You got this big creek here. I guess that's Bull. I believe that's Bull Creek. And then I think this is Ashmore. Yeah, Ashmore Branch right there. So definitely a lot going on towards the middle part of the creek. And then you've got another Hurricane Creek up in here and White Oak. There's just a ton of creeks off these main, you know, Howson and 6 Mile aren't just one creek. I mean, they've got dozens and dozens of creeks that feed into them. So there's really a lot more going on than just that. But you know, Bull and Ashmore look pretty good right there. And of course you can go to the back and there's just a ton of creeks pouring into the back of this thing. Got a pipeline that kind of stretches across, got a road bed that stretches across. Looks like the middle is fairly timber free, but once you get up into these pockets, there's definitely some timber. But a lot of different little nooks and crannies to get a kayak up into. Should be plenty of room. I know this is one of the spots, you know, up here. There's 2 ramps here, another ramp here. You know, I fully expect a lot of people to be fishing this, it's going to get pressured. So I don't know if, yeah, that may be a place I want to stay away from. I don't know if I want to deal with the weekend crowds. And, Housing and 6 Mile are two of the more famous fishing areas on Toledo Bend. I don't know if I want to compete with all the anglers in those areas or not, but we'll probably at least give it a half a day pre-fishing anyway. All right, sorry about the low lighting. I'm kind of struggling here. It's getting kind of dark. Don't have the best lighting, but that's pretty much it. That's kind of my map review. I did a real quick. Didn't try to get too deep into all that stuff. Toledo Bend's so huge. I just wanted to cover a whole bunch of different places. I actually left a few out that I just don't have time to get to. But I'm out of those that I showed you. I'm going to pick out 4 or 5, and when I get there Wednesday, I'm going to get somewhere, fish till maybe noon, and then load up and have another spot ready to go to close by and go finish out the day at another spot. And then on Thursday, do the same thing. Pick 2 different areas, go check them out. And then maybe if I have enough time, we'll try to squeeze a 5th spot in there. I like to give myself enough time in an area to explore it really good and give it a chance. Sometimes it's all about timing. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pick out 4 or 5 spots. I'm not necessarily going to say which spots, but it's definitely some of the ones that I've shown you there. I don't know exactly which ones I'm going to pick just yet, but I've got a pretty good idea. I'm going to go sample some of the north end, some of the mid lake, and some of the south lake, and just see what's going on, see what the conditions are at the time that I get down there. But yeah, that's kind of it for now. I hope this helped you. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to get into baits and talking about what kind of patterns I'm going to be looking to find. And I'll get in the garage and I'm just going to start getting rigged up and try to talk you guys through my mentality and what I'm trying to look for. And next thing you know, man, we're going to be down at Toledo Bend putting some fish in the boat. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next part.